Like many people, since 2020, I've taken a much more proactive approach to my health and fitness.
I believe in miracles. Where you from? You sexy thing, you.
I work out regularly, I track my VO2 max scores, I do zone 2 cardio, I've bought and worn smart rings, I've used a Whoop for a whole year, I sleep on an 8-sleep mattress, and I often wear 2 watches because I could just never decide which one to stick with. And over those 4 years, there have also been periods of time where I totally stopped wearing all of these things because I just got completely fatigued with checking my data and charging at least one thing pretty much every day. So in this video, I want to focus on my preferred smart ring because I've tried all of the big names now. The Oura Ring, the Galaxy Ring, and the Ultrahuman Ring. Actually, 2 Oura Rings, or 3 if you include my wife, and 2 Ultrahuman Rings because I actually lost one and then I kind of found it again. And so, without wasting anybody's time here, I'm not going to draw this video out until the very end or anything. The one ring that has stood the test of time throughout has been the Ultrahuman Ring. And full disclosure here, this is like a really awkward time to make a video about the Ultrahuman Ring because they literally just flew me out to Abu Dhabi for the launch of their new Ring AIR, which I'll talk about in just a bit. So obviously, this is going to look like I am totally sucking up to them, but we've had this video planned for months before the invite to that event even hit my inbox. Now, I have been wearing this Ultrahuman Ring on and off since September 2023, and before that, me and my wife both bought an Oura Ring in 2022. And I'm going to get into a few reasons as to why it is the Ultrahuman that's ultimately won me over for now. But first, if you are considering your first smart ring, then I wanted to address some issues that kind of plague all smart rings. Issues like charging, because all smart rings are very, very tiny, but that means they also have very tiny batteries inside them. Now, all of the rings I've worn all last around the same time of around 5 days or so. But that tiny battery also means that if you ever do get to a phase, like I did, where I just didn't want to wear smart stuff anymore, then if you leave a ring to run out of battery and then leave it for a period of maybe not weeks, but certainly months, and then come back to it, chances are the battery might not charge, like what happened with my Oura Ring. And I've also heard this from others who have taken theirs off for, again, extended periods of time, only to come back to find their ring is totally dead and won't charge. I'm really selling this ring for you right now. Now, this does seem to be common enough that ring companies are just sending out replacement rings. I've actually had this one with Oura, who then sent out immediately a replacement ring to me. Now, one area where Samsung does actually get it right here is with their charger. They have this like puck case thing, which actually has its own battery, so you can pop your ring in and then close the lid and now throw it in your bag or put it on a shelf. Whereas all the other rings have this like open charging design, which then needs charging with a cable, which means you also then can't throw this in your bag. If you do, the ring's going to fly off. I just wish everyone copied this Samsung approach. It's such a nice approach here. And then another one worth mentioning here, it might be an obvious one, but they scratch really easily. Before, I actually went for the dark colors. These are all really scratched actually. But quickly realized that no matter which ring you go with, the dark colors really show up scratches really, really easily. Now, my latest one I've got here is the silver color, and that still gets scratched, but it isn't anywhere near as noticeable that these that literally are taking the paint off on their rings. It just looks horrible. And that is with making an effort to take it off when doing anything like lifting weights. I even remove it when I usually like shower or do the dishes, or just anytime I think I'm going to do something that's going to scratch it. I do the same thing with my wedding ring too. I just take all of my even like non-smart rings, all come off. This is far too many rings right now. Although you can also buy these like tiny ring sleeve things to go over your ring if you want to wear them whilst you're exercising or lifting weights, which do protect the outside of the ring. I just don't like the feeling of it like digging into my finger still, so I just always take my rings off. But then the last issue, if you might call it that, at night you'll notice that all smart rings have these small green or maybe red LEDs that light up because that's what they're using to actually monitor your heart rate and things. Now, normally this isn't a problem, but with the Galaxy Ring, I don't know what it is, but it is the only smart ring I've ever worn that has actually repeatedly woken me up because it is so bright Like sometimes, you know, I fall asleep and I don't know, I like cover my face with my hand for some reason when I'm sleeping. But I've legit woken up because my hand was there and it's shining this really bright light directly into my face, into my eyes. I've even grabbed my phone to show how bright that is. You can see here, it's shining through the sheets. Like it is crazy bright and way brighter than both the Oura and the Ultrahuman rings. So that is, I guess, the negatives, if you call it that, of wearing a smart ring. But let's get to the good stuff here. Like what made me choose Ultrahuman over the other 3 rings? Now the first one is pricing. Like broadly speaking, all of these rings cost around the same. Like yeah, there are a few variations for the finish that you get, but they kind of cost the same. Now 2 things here. There is a link down below that will give you a discount on an Ultrahuman ring because I'm just an affiliate of theirs as someone who loves their products. So use that to order one if you are thinking of buying one yourself. And 2, there is a new Ultrahuman Ring Rare, which is not a tongue twister at all, which is the world's first luxury smart ring. And it costs like $2,000. Like it is so exclusive that you can only buy one currently in a specific store in either London or a store in Paris. More information is going to be available on their website, but I know that price is going to be outside of pretty much everybody watching this video right now. But you know, just in case you know you want to throw down £2,000 or dollars on a smart ring that you then can't switch off and the battery might die. So yeah, go for it. But anyway, as someone who bought 2 Oura rings back in 2022, one for my wife, one for me, and then we both stopped using them after maybe a year or so. I also stopped wearing my Ultrahuman ring and just everything else. I just got fed up of charging so many wearable devices. And so when I went to put back on my Oura ring, I opened up the app and all I got were these 3 numbers. You got readiness, sleep, and activity. That is literally it. There's not any additional bit of data that you can get. There's no sleep stages, you can't see how long you slept for or the quality of sleep, nothing. Not unless you want to pay like the $5 per month, which honestly I think is pretty stingy. And that is genuinely, for me, what rules out the Oura ring. Whereas I grabbed my Ultrahuman ring, and if anything, it gives you too much data. You've got movement, stress, caffeine windows, sleep, recovery, circadian rhythm, and then you've also got heart rate, your cardio age, skin temperature, even a VO2 max score, which actually for me is way more accurate than the Apple Watch Ultra. And each of these you can still tap on and then dive further into all of the data. There's so much data if you want to dig into it. And all of this without a subscription. Like crazy, right? Now the next one for me was cross compatibility, which is a really simple one for me. And really this is about the Galaxy Ring. It only works, of course, with an Android phone. And I switch phones pretty often, like almost weekly at this stage. So having a ring that works across iPhone and Android is key. And then the third reason for me is just really following over from what I've just touched on there. It's the data. There is just so much of it within Ultrahuman. Now I will say, in terms of accuracy, I personally haven't found any of the smart rings to be that accurate, which might sound stupid because you want accurate data, right? But there have been nights where I've been laying awake and I've physically seen like 3 a.m. on my phone, and yet all of these smart rings tell me that I've had a solid 8 hours of sleep and I was fast asleep as soon as I got into bed. So, and this is my own personal opinion here, I would focus less on the data accuracy, but more on data consistency. Like you want to look at a number and try to improve on the number that you see, like your number, not someone else's number, not comparing to what the ideal sleep or scores are for other people, your own numbers. Now I have heard the Oura is more accurate, but I just don't want to pay the £5 or $5 per month for something when the Ultrahuman gives me everything that I need. In many cases, the Apple Watch also wins in accuracy too. And this is from someone who, if I wanted data, I have data. I have data from my 8 sleep mattress and multiple smart rings and smart watches. And they are all, at some point, consistently wrong. I just think maybe I'm just good at like pretending to sleep and tricking whatever I'm wearing to think that I'm asleep just because I sleep there and stay there really still. I don't know. But what I do value though is being able to have those little nudges of, Pete, you're lazy today, get up, your movements are 47, go move around. And it is fun to be able to see, like when we were doom bashing, that my heart rate and stress were pretty high, although it's fairly obvious when you're going through those experiences, like, my heart's probably quite high right now. Now, following the trip with Ultrahuman to Abu Dhabi, I also really like the zones feature where you can, you basically have a group with all your friends in there where you can see each other's scores and basically compete against each other to, get the highest scores. That can be quite fun. And actually, I'm going to create my own zone here. So if anyone wants to join my Ultrahuman group once you have your ring, I'll leave a link to join that down below. Because that might be fun to see what happens. And the other reason I prefer the Ultrahuman Ring is just their expanding health ecosystem, if you call it that. So I'm currently wearing a continuous glucose monitor, somewhere around there, which lets me monitor my blood glucose levels because, a recent blood test I had said that I may be pre-diabetic. So I really need to just learn to manage my glucose spikes and the crashes. And they're also bringing out a brand new home product which can basically monitor the air quality in your house, which is of course especially important if you live in really polluted areas or places like the LA wildfires. Of course, that would be like right off the scale. And there's also a new service which I'm told is coming to the UK and the US fairly soon, which is their blood markers service, where you can basically get these regular blood tests and it brings all of those data points, the ring, the CGM, the home, all of those data points into one app and then starts correlating the data between them. And that is definitely something that I think the others are missing here. It's all well and good having the data, but trying to find a meaning behind it and knowing what's good and bad. And that is really the importance of where fitness and tech comes into play here. So if I was buying a smart ring today and deciding where to spend my money, I would pick up an Ultrahuman Ring AIR over an Oura, over a Galaxy Ring, and over pretty much all of the competition. And if you want to learn more about the Whoop, then check out this video here, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye-bye.